The countdown to New Hampshire continues, just 4 days away now from the first in the nation primary. And as they say, the heat is on. Let's go and take a look at today's Suffolk University, NBC 10 Boston Globe poll. As you see, Donald Trump still holding a commanding lead at 52%. Nikki Haley in second at 35% support. And Ron DeSantis all the way back in third place with just 6% support. But the woman who always is at 100% polling in our hearts is here, NBC 10 Boston political commentator Sue O'Connell. Sue, Nikki Haley has been doing well in New Hampshire. She's gained steam, but man, she's got a lot of ground to cover if she wants to catch up to Donald Trump. Do you think, like my man Lloyd Christmas says, there's a chance that she'll pull off an upset?
Yeah, it would require what we New Englanders, Corey, call a perfect storm, which JC can update us all on later if he remembers that well enough. Look, and here's what it would have to look like. Governor Sununu, who has endorsed Haley, if he used his established political machine to get the vote out for Haley on Tuesday, and independents choose to vote for Haley, and 22% of the new New Hampshire voters who have never voted before in the state vote for Haley, and the 4,000 or so Democrats who changed their party to Republican vote for Haley, and the silent Republicans who have not been supporting Trump vote for Haley. If all of that happens, then Haley has an upset win.
All right, I counted five ands. So
that's right. All of them have to happen.
Yeah. All right. But hypothetically speaking, let's say Haley does pull off the upset. The primary race moves down to South Carolina. That's her home state. She served as a very popular governor there. But right now, in most polls, Trump is beating her there by as much as 30 points. So if she goes from victory to defeat in her own backyard, do you think she still has a path forward?
Well, let's back up for just a second, because there's a lot of time between Tuesday and February 24th, which is when the South Carolina Republican presidential primary is. So if Haley pulls off a New Hampshire upset or comes in second and above the expectations, she would be this cycle's version of a comeback kid, right? She would be the Bill Clinton. So looking like a winner means you get more donations, there's more enthusiasm, and it might actually make Trump look like he's beatable. And again, if the expectations are low in South Carolina, it's easier for her to exceed them.
Let's stick with the former president for just a moment. I want to talk about his relationship with current Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Today, President Biden signed a new spending bill to avert a shutdown, but the White House still wants Congress to approve more aid for Ukraine. However, as we know, House Republicans have tied that aid to money they want for the border, which the White House wants to tackle separately. Speaker Johnson says he's been in communication with Donald Trump about this. And breaking news, Donald Trump is not the president right now. So what are your thoughts about Johnson taking Trump's lead or working with the guy who is not in the White House when you're negotiating with the guy who is in the White House?
Yeah, Corey, it's pretty outrageous. Mostly because it puts politics over people, right? It's clear that Trump is pressuring him to reject the bipartisan border and Ukraine aid package. And of course, in this presidential year, if there's a deal that solves those problems, at least temporarily, then the Republicans can't complain about the border. And that takes away one of their major talking points. So Johnson told Fox that he speaks to Trump, quote, frequently. Right? So Johnson also said earlier this week that he's very much looking forward to a regime change, and that usually means a forcible overthrow of an existing government through anti-democratic means. So it's not surprising that Johnson is close with Trump. Remember, he organized the congressional opposition to the certification of the 2020 election, although he rejects the term election denier. But Trump has got his fingers all up in this Congress, and it is troubling.
All right, Sue, thank you very much. We appreciate the insight as always. And of course, Sue and I have every angle of the New Hampshire primary covered. We're going to have special coverage on Sunday. Following the news at 9, we'll have a live hour-long edition of At Issue from New Hampshire beginning at 9:30. Of course, stick around for Meet the Press with moderator Kristen Welker at 10:30. And then join us at 11:30. Sue and I will be back with another live edition of At Issue from New Hampshire.